Have you ever felt like you're running on a treadmill? You strive, you work hard, you follow all the rules, but the scenery around you remains the same? The answer lies in a single word, which carries with it the power to transform entire universes: faith. But I'm not referring to ordinary faith, the one everyone talks about superficially. I'm talking about a different faith, an inner force so powerful that it's capable of attracting wealth even when everything around you says otherwise. It's this faith I want to introduce you to today, so pay close attention. This faith has nothing to do with a passive hope that one day everything will get better. I'm talking about a state of mind, a deep and unshakable certainty in your own ability to achieve what you desire. A psychic energy as concrete as the law of gravity itself. It's absolute conviction, planted in your subconscious until it becomes your only truth. Napoleon Hill, after 2 decades of studying the minds of the most successful men in history, such as Henry Ford and Thomas Edison, concluded that this faith is the starting point of any and all forms of wealth. Now imagine what it would be like to wake up every day with this conviction. Instead of fearing scarcity, you would feel a powerful tranquility and complete confidence in abundance. Your decisions, actions, and words would be guided not by doubt, but by an unquestionable faith that you are on the right path. In this video, I won't hand you a simple map. I'll give you the tool to build your own empire. I'll show you how to shape the mindset of a truly prosperous person. A step-by-step process to build, brick by brick, a faith that attracts prosperity even from scratch. Even if today you're surrounded by debt, frustration, or people who tell you it's impossible. What I'm going to reveal is not a fad motivational technique. It's the key that unlocks the door to your mind to true prosperity. But if this faith has so much power, why do so few people develop it? Why is it so hard to believe firmly? Especially when your bank account is in the red, debts are piling up, and your reality seems to scream the opposite. The answer lies in an invisible enemy, a silent saboteur that lives inside your own mind and has been programmed since childhood. Psychology calls it the inner critic. Personal development calls it the scarcity mindset. I prefer to call it the guardian of your current reality. Pay close attention, because this could be the turning point in your life. This guardian isn't you. It's an echo, the echo of your parents' voices telling you that money doesn't grow on trees, or that rich people don't go to heaven. It's the echo of teachers who once doubted your potential. It's the reflection of past failures that your mind insists on projecting into the future to try to protect you from further disappointments. This guardian is like a protection program that has become obsolete. It was created to keep you safe in your comfort zone. But now that safety has become a prison. Napoleon Hill was categorical. The subconscious mind doesn't differentiate between a positive thought and a negative one. It simply reacts to what it feeds most frequently, especially what it feeds with the most emotion. And what do most people feed every day? Fear of bills, self-doubt, anxiety about the future. We're strengthening precisely what we want to avoid. Therefore, the first step, the most decisive one, to developing this faith isn't trying to believe forcefully. It's declaring war on your guardian of doubt. It's observing this critical voice without confusing it with it. When it arises, saying, "You can't do it," or "Who are you to dream so big?" you'll take a bold step. You'll interrupt this flow of thoughts and mentally affirm, "I'm listening, guardian. Thank you for trying to protect me. But now I'm in charge." Visualize this voice not as an absolute truth, but as the alarm on an old car, going off in any wind. Irritating, noisy, but harmless. A false danger signal. The moment you separate yourself from this voice, when you understand that it's not you, but just an old mental habit, you take away all its power. You stop being a prisoner and become an observer. And in that instant, you create the first clear space where true faith can be planted. Recognizing and neutralizing this inner enemy is 90% of the battle. And now that this space has been opened, we can begin to truly build. Your mind is hungry for a new direction. It needs a new direction, a new command. And here comes the first pillar of transformative faith: burning desire. And here's an essential distinction. What separates the dreamers from the doers? The key to achieving something is the intensity of the desire. A common desire, like, "I wish I had more money," is weak, vague, and doesn't generate action. A burning desire, as Napoleon Hill defines it, is a constructive obsession. It's a constant thought that energizes, motivates, and directs with clarity. Psychology explains it well. When you have a vague goal, your brain gets lost. But when you define a clear, specific, and emotionally charged desire, you activate a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, like the Google of your mind. It begins to filter the world and show only what aligns with your goal. It's not that opportunities appear out of nowhere. It's that you're now programmed to perceive them. This knowledge is powerful and also dangerous, because once you understand how to rewrite the source code of your mind, you can no longer blame the outside world, the economy, or luck for your results. The responsibility will be entirely yours. The process is simple yet profound. A daily ritual practiced twice a day, in the morning upon waking and at night before bed, the moments when the veil between the conscious and subconscious is thinnest. You will retreat, open your journal or statement paper, and read aloud what you've written. But here comes the ingredient that changes everything: emotion. As you read, close your eyes and feel. Don't think about how you'll get that money. That's your higher mind's job. Your mission is to feel as if you've already achieved it. Feel the gratitude overflowing, the relief of seeing your financial worries disappear like smoke. Feel the power, security, and freedom flowing through your veins. What does the new car you bought smell like? The sound of the waves on the beach in front of your house? The touch of a screen when confirming a transfer that changed your family's life? Every time you perform this ritual with genuine emotion, you are acting like a neural engineer. The science of neuroplasticity shows that you force the brain to create new connections, new mental pathways. You are building a highway of abundance, replacing old scarcity programming with a new framework for prosperity. This isn't self-deception, it's targeted programming. You are giving your subconscious a clear, strong, and consistent command. Faith isn't born from evidence. Evidence is born from faith applied with consistent discipline. This ritual is your mental training. Your mind is your temple, and your laboratory. Start today. Now, forget the old adage of feeling is believing. Let's reverse that logic. What I'm going to reveal to you now is one of the most transformative secrets of high-performance psychology, and few people truly understand. Action is not a consequence of faith. Action is the cradle of faith. Most people live in a flawed cycle, having, doing, being. They believe that when they have money, they'll do what rich people do and only then will they feel rich. This is a trap, and it's the reason they remain stagnant. High achievers, instinctively or not, live the opposite: being, doing, having. This is where a powerful concept comes in: cognitive dissonance. Your mind constantly seeks coherence. It can't tolerate the contradiction between what you believe you are and how you act for long. And it's precisely this internal tension that we'll use as leverage. This is identity engineering. You'll stop trying to feel rich, and you'll start acting like your future, prosperous, and successful self. It's not about spending what you don't have. It's about adopting the mental and emotional attitude of someone who's already there. Do this exercise. Define your wealth avatar. Don't just think about what they have. Think about who they are. How does this person walk? With confidence and calm? How do they communicate? With clarity and without complaints? How do they react to unexpected situations? with desperation or with a focus on solutions? What do they study? What do they consume? What conversations do they avoid? Now, for a single day, live like this avatar. It's not what you do that matters, but the energy with which you do it. When you receive a stressful email, ask yourself, how would my millionaire self respond to this? When choosing between watching a series or reading a book about prosperity, think, which would my avatar choose? At first, this will create discomfort. It's cognitive dissonance in action. Your old programming will resist. Your mind may even scream, who do you think you are? But that's exactly where the magic begins. To resolve this contradiction, your mind has only two options. 1. Sabotage you until you return to the old pattern. 2. Accept your new identity as true and adjust your beliefs to match your actions. Therefore, you don't need to believe to begin. You need to begin to believe. You've started the process. You're walking differently, speaking differently, making decisions based on a new mindset. But now comes the greatest resistance, your environment. And what I'm going to tell you now may hurt, but it's liberating. Your mind, as a biological matter of tribal survival, always tries to align itself with the pattern of the group to which you belong. Psychology calls this social proof. It's this instinct that has kept us alive in groups for millennia. But today, if your tribe lives in a pattern of scarcity, complaining, and disbelief, your brain will sabotage your progress to ensure you still belong. The seed of faith is there, but everything you consume, news, social media, conversations, is the water and fertilizer. The people you associate with are the climate. You can have the most powerful seed in the world, but if you plant it in soil contaminated by pessimism, water it with fear, and expose it to an atmosphere of gossip and complaints, it will rot before it can germinate. It's time for a radical audit of your environment. First step, your information diet. For the next 7 days, do a detox. Cancel subscriptions to websites that spread tragedy. Unfollow profiles that provoke envy, comparison, or feelings of failure. Stop listening to music that extols lack and suffering. For each piece of content you consume, ask yourself, does this nourish faith or reinforce doubt? Second step, and the most challenging, your social circle. Grab a piece of paper. List the 5 people you spend the most time with. Be honest. What do you talk about most? Ideas, opportunities, and growth? Or complaints, problems, and frustrations? Neuroscience shows that conversation topics physically strengthen brain connections. Talking about solutions activates the path to wealth. Talking about problems activates the path to scarcity. This isn't an invitation to abandon those you love, but rather to manage your exposure. You need to be the dominant influence in your group. Reduce contact with energy drains. And, more importantly, seek out new influences. Read books by great mentors. Join groups on finance, entrepreneurship, and personal development. Attend events with people who think big. Show your brain that prosperity is possible, common, and accessible. Taking care of your environment isn't arrogance. It's responsibility. You're creating a psychological greenhouse where your faith can naturally flourish. Now that you're living as your avatar and cultivating the right soil, there's only one final barrier left. A subtle trap disguised as virtue. You're acting like your future self. Your environment is clean, but perhaps your bank account hasn't yet caught up. And that's when the most insidious enemy of all emerges. An unconscious loyalty to your poverty. Yes, there may be an ancient, hidden, and deep-seated belief within you that getting rich is wrong, that prosperity is selfish, that being poor is being good. Think of your mind as an extremely fertile garden. For many of us, the source code we carry about money is etched with guilt and fear. Expressions like, money is dirty, or rich people are greedy aren't just sayings. They're silent commands inserted into your subconscious. And herein lies a painful paradox. If, deep within your core, you believe that getting rich is bad, your mind will wage a veritable internal war whenever you try to prosper financially. It's a psychological conflict, a dissonance that needs to be resolved. To maintain your self-image as a good person, your brain may resort to the unthinkable, sabotaging your success. It will lead you to procrastinate, waste opportunities, and make mistakes. Also, you remain faithful to that old limiting belief. You accelerate with your actions, but keep your foot on the brakes with your guilt. To defuse this bomb, I propose you make a financial confession, a sincere conversation with your soul. Ask yourself right now, and accept the first answer that comes without judgment. What did you hear about rich people as a child? Were they words of admiration or contempt? Go further. Mentally complete the sentence. Money is the root of. Which word appeared? Fear? Greed? Evil? Now, the most revealing question. If you became extremely wealthy, what would you be afraid of? Becoming arrogant? Lonely? Being rejected by the one you love? These answers are the invisible brakes. But conscience is the pliers that can cut them. If your mind has been taught that money corrupts, you need to confront this lie with a more powerful truth. Tell yourself, money is just an amplifier. It intensifies what I already am. In my hands, it will expand my capacity to be generous, to care for my family, and to contribute to a better world. If you've been told that to be rich you have to be dishonest, replace that lie with a new conviction. True wealth is built by solving real problems and creating significant value. The more people I serve and help, the more prosperous the universe will allow me to be. You need to give yourself permission to prosper. Releasing guilt is the final act of inner alignment. When your identity, your attitudes, your environment, and your values about money all point in the same direction, wealth ceases to be a struggle and becomes a natural consequence. Now that the internal barriers have been broken, you are ready for the final phase, interacting with the world in a way that attracts opportunities. You have aligned your identity, healed your environment, and now your mind sees opportunities that have always been around you, only hidden by limiting beliefs. But knowledge without action is just unrealized potential. And vision without execution is just illusion. We have reached the ignition point, the force that transforms ideas into reality, thoughts into results, immediate and massive action. There is a universal physical and psychological law. Nature abhors a void. Your faith and your new vision have created a space of potential. If you don't fill it with deliberate action, the universe will fill it with doubts, fears, and regrets. Taking massive action isn't about working until you're exhausted. It's about destroying procrastination with a single gesture. It's about having the courage to take the first step, the hardest one, in the first 5 seconds after inspiration strikes. It's about picking up the phone and making that call. It's about registering your website domain. It's about writing the first line of your business plan. It's the movement that breaks inertia. Psychology shows that by acting immediately, your brain creates task tension. It hates leaving things unfinished and will do anything to complete what you started. You shift from planning mode to doing mode. And that's where the magic happens. Your faith drives you to act. Your action generates a result. Even small, this result fuels your faith. Your renewed faith leads to greater action. And thus an upward spiral is born. Faith generates action. Action generates results. Results strengthen faith. This is how empires begin, with a single courageous act in the present. The wealth you seek is not in the distant future. It is in your next decision, your next action, your courage to act now. You already have everything you need. The power is no longer in what you know, but in what you choose to do with that knowledge. If this video ignited something within you and provided tools to build the life you deserve, then join this movement. Subscribe to continue receiving the map. Like so this message reaches other minds ready to awaken. Comment, immediate action, and seal your commitment to the new. Share it with those you want to see grow alongside you. The journey begins now. See you at the top.